My name is Fernando Garcia Dori. I'm an artist and agroecologist, and I've been working for 20 years on connecting art and the land, and I started a project and organization called Inland in 2010. I think that both practices are a human faculty, a capacity to intervene in the world, and both are now existing within a prevalent model of extraction and exploitation of resources, but they have the potential of giving shape to another paradigm. So both the art, that is the cultivation of the spirit in contemplation of a certain notion of aesthetic, in the romantic sense is also the education of the person and systems of values, and agriculture in relation in the sense of agriculture, or a cultural regard on how we operate with material and energy flows. Those understandings of both concepts could come together in defining a new possible path of development for society in the future. So instead of producing more and consuming more, producing with the earth and contemplating and developing aesthetic understandings of those productive processes in a slower and more local-based scale. The project ALMA is a response to the conditions of the Commission in certain aspects, because it's an experimental way to research, map and intervene in a territory, considering the very limited possibilities we have in time and scope of action. So in this sense, it's an exercise on thinking together in an intense short period with the main actors of the area, and then producing a speculation about the future that hopefully will trigger also visions for and other options for the relation culture and nature here in the area. So apart from that, ALMA is a project that consists in a first approach to, as I said, research and map with a collective exercise in the form of a workshop composed by representatives of the most important sectors related with the use of the land and territory here, from farmers to forest department agents to scientists from the earth studies, and altogether we develop a certain methodology to think on the present and project ideas for the future. That methodology, through different exercises, gave shape to a series of scenarios, actually 4 scenarios, and then those scenarios that were drafted in that workshop were later developed in the form of a script. The script also shaped the way we played with archive images and images we captured shooting in the area and interviews, to sort of produce a filmic essay about these fictions and current debates. So the idea is to have a tool that is ALMA, that is both the film as well as the methodology, but also the installation in which the work is shown. And the installation here is composed of functional sculptures, or let's say just pottery pieces that will be activated in a series of lunches, and that they also echo the room we are using here in the Museum of the City of Bolzano. And in this weekly 4 lunches, there will be a moment for the agents and the local actors to also come together and keep the discussion going. There is also another element that is a sort of performative introduction to those moments of sharing that is driven by a character for which we produce a specific costume that is composed of the 4 layers, each of them representing one of the scenarios. So in this project there has been actually a polyphonic work together with BAU and Lena, who made a costume for Inland. It was me and Carlos Monleon, and all the participants in the workshop have been crucial to define the script and film. Well, I grew up in a region that it's actually not so different in terms of land use, because it's based as well in the vertical transhumance from the valleys to the mountains. But I think that what struck me from Bolzano is that instead of being a more of a, we can say, a cul-de-sac against the sea, in the case of my region in northern Spain, it was a pathway. So a pathway. So that made that from the very early ages, strong cultural elements and power symbols emerged in the Middle Ages and later. And later it became also a sort of meeting point between the Germanic culture and the Latin culture, and that offered a kind of a rich environment for the crossing of cultures and for the visitors from both worlds, let's say, that gather, and that, for example, involved early development of the tourism industry. And what we see now is a sort of a very mature synchronicity of different sectors. And the first time I came, for me it was like a travel to the future of some sort, so that's why the original idea of playing with futures and speculations came. And then I think what I take with me is the lovely people, and then to be able to learn from the lessons here and think in the other territories where Inland is working, what are the things to apply, the things to put under question.